Welcome back to the Hidden Haven Homestead. Today we're out in the greenhouse again, and our tomatoes, as you can see behind me here, are way overdue for being put in. I would like to have had them put in a couple of weeks ago, but when you are doing anything farming wise, some things take priority. We've had some frost, strawberries needed covered, just life in general. Things happen that are out of your control, and you gotta get your priorities where they need to be. And so the tomatoes have just been neglected a little bit. Today we're going to be putting as many tomatoes in as we can get put in. I've got an auger on my drill that I'm going to drill the holes with. As tall as these are, I'm going to try to get them in about a foot. I did a test hole here, went straight down with it. It sunk in really nicely. But I think what I'm going to try to do is put them at an angle so they're not quite so deep, but they still get that rooting all the way up the stalk there. Try to get about a foot deep on them. Tomatoes are interesting because they have their initial root ball, but if you plant them, in fact, you should plant them a little deeper because they'll shoot roots out all the way up that stem until it gets out of the ground. So I'm going to be trying to put them in about a foot deep. I said I put a test hole in here. I'll show you that, and then I'm going to try to do one at an angle and see if I can only make it about 6 inches deep, but still be a foot of the tomatoes shaft being down in the ground. I got my auger here. I just tried one kind of angled, and it worked okay, but not as good as what I was hoping. I'm gonna try something a little different here. We'll go down straight and then move it over. Not exactly what I was looking for, but we may just have to work with what we got. Alright, so you can see the auger works pretty good. I was wanting to do some angled holes, but that's just not working. So I'm gonna go straight down. I think that's going to be good. The soil contact with the stem, it should just continue to grow roots. I've got irrigation in here, so we're going to have plenty of moisture for it. But the more roots you can have, the better that plant's going to be to taking up all the nutrients you're trying to put in. There we go. I've got all the holes drilled except a couple in this row here. Ran out of battery right there at the end. I think I've got 5 or 6 left to drill in that second hole. I didn't explain, so last year I had all indeterminate plants, and that's why if you look over right here, these 2 rows are so close together. I used the leaning and lowering method, which I've got a full-time job, so that takes a lot of time. So this year I'm going to all determinate plants. That way I don't have to constantly be stringing them, pruning them. With the determinate, you just start letting them grow. I'm going to do the Florida weave. I know there's some videos on that. So I've left one hole undrilled, like right here at the very front, and then 4 that I'll have plants in, then another one that will be for a post. I'll drive posts in there every 4th one. or every fifth one, 4 plants, then a post. And so next to where I had the indeterminates last year, so these holes right here next to the tomatoes, I'm gonna put some cucumbers and some green beans that are pole beans. So I'm gonna use basically the leaning and lowering method with cucumbers and green beans to plant next to my tomatoes that I'm gonna be planting in here. So I'm gonna get the other battery. I'm not gonna drill any more holes. I've got 2 more rows to drill holes on, and I'm not gonna do that right now. That's a lot of work on a cordless drill, so I'm gonna do some planting, and then we'll come back and we'll get the other holes drilled at maybe a later date. I don't know if I've got enough plants, tomato plants, to fill all the holes anyway. I think I'm gonna have about 140 total tomato plants. Over here on this side, I'm gonna have peppers in these 2 rows, and then the far row over there, I'm gonna have zucchini and squash. Now I'm probably gonna go ahead and plant those today also. So I'm gonna get busy planting, and then we'll come back at the end of the day. We're getting ready to have a storm, so I may be ran out of here at some point, but at any rate, at the end of the day, we'll show you our progress. All right, I've got my seeds here. I'm gonna be planting. The rain's starting. I got some thunder going. I'm gonna put some summer squash over there. I'm gonna probably plant 4 zucchinis and 1 crookneck yellow squash, and I'm probably gonna do that. I'm gonna do them in succession, so I'm gonna plant those today, and then I'll probably wait a couple of weeks and do 5 more, so 4 zucchini and 1 yellow squash again, and I'm gonna try to do that and make that whole row zucchini and yellow squash. That way when the bugs start coming, which we all know they will, maybe I can get some good. If one gets killed, then I've got some in succession coming on. And then I've got my green beans, pole beans. I'm gonna do a whole row all the way down to pole beans now. Then I'm gonna wait a couple of weeks again. I'm gonna do another whole row of pole beans. So I'll do 2 full rows of pole beans, and then right here next to this row, this closest row, I'm gonna do 10 pickling cucumbers and 10 straight 8s. So 20 total plants, and then that'll leave me with 18 more holes to work on, and I'll succession plant those. So right now I'm gonna be planting half the cucumbers, half of the total beans, one row of the 2, and then the zucchini is probably gonna take me about 3 plantings to get that whole row filled up. So I'm gonna get busy here. I'm gonna use my auger again on these just to loosen up the top soil, top inch or so of soil, so I can stick my seeds down in there nicely, and we'll just get busy here and get all that planted.